Before starting this video, I would like to say a quick thank you to all my family and friends out there who have encouraged me to do this and record myself. Thanks guys, I couldn't have done this without you. Satan cured my cancer. Now I wish I was dead. By RichardSaxon. Part 1. Pain can drive us to make stupid decisions. But what I did was advanced stupidity. Satan first presented himself to me on my deathbed. For years I had been suffering with incurable cancer, and very soon I would succumb to the disease at the ripe old age of 42. There I lied, under fluorescent light beaming down on my tired face, when what looked like an elderly man materialized in front of me. He looked like a gentle, well-dressed man, and he had such a sweet voice. I was immediately put under his charming spell. "You don't look good, my friend," he said with a calm voice. "Are you in pain?" Being heavily sedated, I did not have the capability to question what just happened. "Who are you?" I asked. "Concerned third party," he said. "No, you know who I am." He was right. Despite his absolute normal appearance, I knew it was the devil himself who stood at my bedside, my sole guest at that wretched hospital. "Why are you here? I didn't do anything wrong," I said. "Of course you didn't. People need to stop thinking I'm only here to punish. I'm simply here to help you." I saw genuine concern in his eyes as he said that. He put his hand on my shoulder and leaned in closer. "What if I could help you keep living?" He knew he had my interest. Anything to be rid of this pain. But what would the price be? In fact, I'll give you a choice. You've led an extraordinarily average life, and you've done little bad, but also little good. It kind of evens out in the most insignificant way. He paused, allowing me to process. "So, I could kill you now, quick and peacefully, and let God put his judgment upon you, or..." He stopped. "Or what? Or I could cure you and let you live. Just like that," I asked. "Well, there's always a catch for such a gift. But I wouldn't ask too much of you." I thought about his offer, but would not allow him to take too much advantage. So I just stared at him without responding. "Alright, so all I would want in return are some of your memories. Let's put it like this. For each year you live, you will forget exactly one thing." It sounded absolutely ridiculous. Certainly he'd take good and leave the bad. I knew then I would refuse his offer. But before you answer, he said, "I'm not going to take all your good memories. That would be insanely unfair. I'll simply leave it to chance. It could be as simple as forgetting how to say cheese or how to fold shirts, but once forgotten, you can never remember." "So, random memories?" "Exactly. Only one per year." Speaking was a painful feat. Despite my medication, I was in constant pain. The devil stared at me with his friendly eyes, now stretching out his hand, longing for a handshake. I thought briefly before I accepted the deal. Clearly, I'm an idiot. As soon as I shook his hand, he wished me luck on my journey and vanished before my eyes. Had it all been a weird hallucination? No. The doctors thought it was a miracle. Someone recovering from stage 4 cancer within days is unheard of. Completely healthy. The more skeptical one says it was a misdiagnosis in the first place. But we were still confused as to how I recovered. No matter what the cause, I was able to go home within a week. A second chance at life. In that time, I would get it right. No more sitting passively around waiting for life to happen. The first year was over in a flash. And on the anniversary of my deal with Satan, I lost my first memory. I could no longer properly boil an egg, no matter how many times I tried. It would come out either raw or boiled to pieces. I chuckled to myself. It was a loss I could quickly adapt to, frying my eggs from that day on instead. Still a pretty good breakfast. So the years went by. I started working again at a tech company. Seeing as I had some history of programming before my disease, I even started dating, a tricky situation after being divorced for years. Life was good, and though I slightly worried each year around the time of the anniversary, nothing much changed. Just to mention a few, I forgot the lyrics to Who Let the Dogs Out, which I'm told is extremely strange considering I remember the title of the song. I forgot how to change a tire, and then my girlfriend's name. An awkward situation to say the least, and we broke up fairly quickly after that day. In addition, I have some blank spaces in my memory. I'm assuming I've lost the memory of a few events, but nothing I feel too upset about. Save for my dad's funeral. I can't remember there being a funeral. I just can't recall anything about it, even though I allegedly attended it. Life is strange. Even before my disease, and even after my deal with Satan. But nonetheless, I was genuinely happy. I lived in peace and enjoyed each day for 10 years. A decade of life. And I no longer felt worried about Remembrance Day, an ironic name I had come up with. On the 10th year, as with each year, a memory was stolen. I had forgotten how to feel happy. When I woke up that morning, I felt different. Of course, I still had memories of happiness. The concept was known to me. But I could no longer remember how to experience the actual emotion. That first cup of coffee in the morning no longer brought me joy. The warm sunshine on my skin did not bring me comfort. The jokes in the newspaper no longer supplied any laughs, if they ever actually did. According to Paul Ekman, there are 6 basic emotions: anger, disgust, sadness, surprise, fear, and happiness. Without the last, there's not much left to enjoy. A horrible mix of sadness and fear filled me from the second I realized what had happened. So I tried everything I could, thinking of on God's green earth that would resemble joy. I'm not particularly proud of what I did. Drugs, hookers, adrenaline, producing activities. Not always legal. Took part in some fights, which did not end well for me. Nothing worked. The anhedonia quickly wore me out, and only a few months later I was on the brink of ending my own life. I needed some liquid courage, or at least as much as I could stomach. Alcohol was never really my vice. I put the gun barrel in my mouth, pulled the trigger without hesitation. The gun jammed. It occurred to me that I might have made a huge mistake making that deal. I tried for a year to kill myself in various different ways. I attempted stabbing myself, but the blade was inexplicably so old it simply broke. Even a car crash wouldn't kill me. Somehow, I always escaped unscathed, jumping from the tall buildings, drinking acid, overdoses, you name it, I've tried it. Nothing works. Eventually, Remembrance Day came around again, but this time, instead of losing my memory, I had an unexpected visitor. "Would you please stop trying to kill yourself?" a familiar voice said. I was jolted awake from my alcohol and drug-induced sleep, panicking at having someone in my room. It was Satan, still in the same suit, not having aged a day. Like last time, he had simply materialized, but now inside my bedroom. "You piece of shit! You stole my happiness!" I yelled at him. He gestured at me to calm down. "No, we made a deal. I take a random memory, I don't choose which one, Isn't happiness supposed to be all about the chemicals in your brain anyway? This isn't exactly what I expected when I agreed to our deal, I snarked back at him. People never do. And that's why it's so easy for me to get what I want. He smiled at me, a sinister look across his stupid face. Seriously, though, stop trying to commit suicide. It's a really big hassle preventing it. You're the one stopping me from dying? Well, yeah. I told you, I would let you keep living. We never discussed how long, so I took a few liberties with the contract. We stared at each other in silence for a few moments. I was trying to find a way out of this mess, but he was clearly experienced at this sort of crap. Do you happen to have some coffee? He asked. I really like to drink a good old cup of joe in the morning. Are you serious? Always. Come on, let's talk. He stretched his hand towards the kitchen. I put on a pot of coffee while Satan made himself at home, sitting by the kitchen table and reading the newspaper. Heh. He chuckled to himself as he read the paper. Chain collision on the highway last night. I knew it would be a fun time to renew that old guy's driver's license, he mumbled. What was that? Nothing. That coffee ready yet? I poured us both a cup and sat down with him. He inhaled the aroma, really exaggerating his enjoyment of the smell. Then he proceeded to sip the coffee, not addressing the reason why he was there. So why the hell are you here? I asked. He took a break from his coffee and looked at me, still smiling joyfully. You want to kill yourself, so shortly after I saved your life. Is that right? Not much point in my current state, is it? Maybe not. He continued to drink his coffee. So? So what? What do you want? Ah, yes, the New Deal. He was ecstatic, standing up from the table and walking around the room. You see, I'm a collector of sorts. Things even I can't create are fascinating to me. Things such as your memories. He paused for a moment, being mildly fascinated and distracted by a painting on my wall. The thing is, I have so many deals going around, and I take different things from different people. Memories from you, knowledge from my good friend Steve, and dreams from that guy who thinks he has fatal insomnia. Heh, what an idiot. Well, you get the point. He waited for me to respond. I could see the excitement in his eyes. What do you need from me then? I'm glad you asked. You see, I have all these employees. Some people call them demons, but whatever. Yes, go on. The problem is that there are stupid rules I have to follow, and people keep finding ways to take advantage of these rules, keeping me away and so on. Now, since you are human and don't really have to follow these rules, I'm guessing you want me to collect things for you, I interpreted. Ah, not such an idiot after all. Yes, that's exactly what I need. I would give you all the tools necessary for such a job. And in return, do I get my happiness back? No. He shook his head. Why would I help you then? Because if you do, I'll stop interfering in your suicide attempts. He reached out with his hand for a handshake. Allowing me to die was probably the most merciful thing Satan would ever do. So I shook it. Good luck. He smiled and then vanished into the air once more. All he left behind was a box labeled Collection Kit number 8402.